For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. We are glad you're along. We have a great show lined up for you again today. And we've got some people representing Riverbank Theater. And they've got a spectacular play coming up for the month of February and the beginning of March. Then one of the the captain of the sheriff's department will be along to talk about the work of the drug rehab task force, not rehab, but the drug task force, and what kind of great work they're doing for us in the county. And then finally, we're going to give you a little tour of this new studio we've got and a couple apps that we're now available in St. Clair and on Channel 6, and you're going to be having. But let's meet the star of stage and screen and TV, Miss Rose Hill. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Focus set.
Yes.
Nice to see you. And with you is a gentleman by the name of Aaron Smith. Do you know him pretty well now?
Pretty well, yeah.
You have to speak up real loud. So
Pretty well.
Pretty well.
Pretty well.
I understand that you are a student at Pine River Elementary.
Yes.
And what's good about Pine River Elementary? The floors, the doors, the windows?
The teachers.
It's just everything's good?
Yeah.
When you're not at Pine River Elementary, what are you doing with yourself?
Playing with my dog, Lucy.
Playing with your dog? I thought you had a career where you were being a superstar on the stage.
Yes.
What is that stage about, and what is the play that you're involved in?
Matilda, the
Matilda.
musical. Matilda, the musical.
And what is your role in Matilda?
Matilda.
You are Matilda yourself? Wow.
Yeah.
Is this the first play you've been involved in?
I've been involved in other plays like Golden Trip to Netherland and Summer Camp.
So this one here is pretty spectacular, though.
Yeah.
Big cast.
Yeah.
Should I ask Aaron some questions?
Yes.
Okay. Aaron, welcome back to the
Hi,
Focus
Paul.
set.
Thank
Nice
you
to see you.
very much.
I'm glad you brought a friend to this time.
I am too. It's good to be here
Yeah.
with my friend Rose here.
Right.
She does a great job playing Matilda. And
Talk to me about Matilda. It was a movie.
it was a book first
Okay.
by Roald Dahl, who also wrote Willy Wonka and James
Okay.
and the Giant Peach. And then it was a film, which is very different. I understand it's very different from the actual story from the book. This musical that we're doing is a fairly new adaptation, and it is more based on the book.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a very cool show.
I read somewhere in these notes that there's a huge cast.
It's our largest cast to date, I believe. We have 35 people.
Wow.
Yep. 35 people, and 20 of them are I almost said kids. You're not all kids.
Young
but
adults.
Students.
Students.
Student age, whatever that means. And so we're thrilled. We're cramming them on that stage, but it looks really good.
Okay.
And a lot of the kids, as everybody knows now, we have our Performing Arts Academy. Many of the
Yes.
kids on stage that auditioned are students of the academy. Not all, but many of them. And Rose here, she mentioned a couple of the plays she's done with our academy. We were in Rock Around the 50s last summer, and
Yep.
Golden Trip to Neverland, which we did in our Stage Door Kids program. So she's been a participant of that, and she auditioned for us and knocked us out with her British accent. You want
Can
to
you give me a little of the
do a
British
little of your
accent?
British accent?
Once upon a time,
Oh.
the two greatest circus performers in the world, an escapologist who could escape from any luck that was ever invented, and an acrobat who's so skilled it seemed as if she could actually fly, fell in love and got married.
You are really a British person.
We thought so too.
You brought along some pictures, some stuff
We
here.
have some pictures. Oh,
let's. What have you got up here?
This is it's a song called School Song, and as the little kids are going to the Trunchbull's Academy for the first time, this is what you see. And these are the big kids who are trying to scare the little kids into believing things about the school that may or may not be true. So.
Okay. Is this a video, right?
I'm not sure. Might be.
We can drop it in later if we don't.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. Yeah.
I have suffered in this jail. I've been trapped inside this cage for ages. This living hell. But if I try, I can remember that before my life had ended, before the happy days were over, before I first heard the pealing of the bell.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's a little
Pretty
taste
cool.
of some of the singing and.
We got a couple other pictures, I think, Bruce,
Do we?
too, that we can throw up there and see. There we go.
Okay, there's Miss Honey and Miss Trunchbull, who is played. Miss Trunchbull is actually played by a man in our show.
Oh my God!
Which makes for a very funny sight gag all
Yeah.
throughout the show that we play up many times.
Okay. And next we got.
That looks like the start of one of our songs called Revolting Children. It's kind of when the kids get empowered to take over the school from the mean Miss Trunchbull.
Okay.
And that's Bruce in the center, and he's about to rock it out.
Okay. Is this a video too? No, it's not. Okay.
I don't know.
No. There we go.
And there's,
Boy, look at
there's
that.
a lot of the school
lot of
kids
people
right
there.
there. Yep. Yep.
Say again, Bruce. All right.
Matilda likes to read books, and she's very young, and she has taught herself to read. She has a brilliant mind, and so our set, as you can see, is kind of based on lots of letters
Yes.
and kind of like Scrabble in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
There's some blocks, and then we're back to
Oh, there
this
we
is
go.
a video. Okay.
For your country. You have to stay inside the circle all the time. And if you want to make the team, you don't need happiness or self-esteem. You just need to keep your feet inside the line. Sing, children! 2, 3, 4!
She's not a very nice person. There's Rose down there on the screen there.
Life's a wall, so learn to through it. Find the valley line and turn it, and always keep
Very
your
light.
feet inside the line. Now get out.
There we
Yes.
go. And you got your hands like this during the whole show, right? Pretty good. Pretty good entertainment. Pretty good music there.
Yes, the music's incredible in this show. We just want to encourage everybody to come see it. And it's a fairly new musical. It hasn't been done very often. So
You've got performances on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
yes,
Beginning of February right through March. That's
yes,
a
through
nice
March
long
8th.
run.
Yes, yep. I think we're doing 15 performances.
14.
14?
I think it is 14.
14 or 15.
Four-
I think it's 15.
Close to 14
Yeah.
or 15.
Yeah,
Somewhere
in
between
there.
14 and 15.
But we're running through March 8th, so come on out and check it out and see all our kids and
All
some of
tickets
our-
are $28.
$28, and some of our regular performers are with us too as well. It's not just children in the show. So
I didn't tell the control room this, but there's a second slide in there of the season for Riverbank Theater. If you
Yes.
can put up there's 2 slides. One has the schedule from February, and the other one has the schedule from later in the year. There we go. There we
There's
go.
our schedule,
February
yep.
7th is Matilda. It starts. So, Aaron, take us through the rest of the year.
okay, then after that we have Same Time Next Year, opens March 20th, and then we're bringing those 5 crazy nuns back this year for Nun Sense
They're
2.
troublemakers.
They are troublemakers, but we love them, and we're looking forward to that. Fox on the Fairway opens around Memorial Day, and then 39 Steps, West Side Story are part of our summer theater festival.
Tell us
Yeah.
about that. Touch base with us on that. You're going to be into the East China Performing Arts Center.
We are. We're putting West Side Story in that venue this summer. We're going to have 3 shows running simultaneously in 3 different venues in the same town, which is
Okay.
really
So West Side
magnificent.
Story is going to be
Yes,
at the Pack.
at the Pack, and then 39 Steps, we did that 6 years ago. We're bringing that back, putting it at Riverbank Theater with the original cast that we had. And then we're also doing Life Begins at 50, which is going to be a new work that we're trying out down at the Snug by Jim Hindman.
Okay.
He's our Broadway connection.
right.
And we're really, really grateful to Ascension Hospitals,
Right.
Ascension Michigan, Ascension St. John, and Ascension River District. They have graciously teamed together to sponsor our summer festival to get it launched.
Wow.
So we're very, very appreciative
That's
of them.
wonderful. I did not
Yes.
know that.
It's
That's
great
great.
when organizations like that come
Yeah,
together
yeah,
and support
yeah.
the arts in
Yeah,
their community. So.
And then later you got the Pinup Girls in July.
Well, we're actually not doing Pinup Girls anymore. We're doing.
I need a new slide.
Yeah, you'll get it. Then we're doing Give 'em Hell Harry. It's a one-man show by Gem Theatrics. They've been in previous seasons. They're coming back. Sunset Boulevard, which is, if you've seen the old film, it's based on that, and it's an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. We've never done Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's written lots of famous musicals. Santaland Diaries and Christmas Schooner are our Christmas shows, and we're telling people this is our naughty and nice Christmas season. So
Okay.
if you want something naughty, you come see Santaland Diaries. It's a little more for adults.
Okay.
And if you want something nice, you come see Christmas Schooner. It's a big family
Are they
musical.
both musicals?
Santaland Diaries is just a play, and Christmas Schooner is, of course, a musical.
Okay.
Christmas Schooner is going to be very interesting. It's about a captain on the Great Lakes that brought Christmas trees down from up north to Chicago, and it's based on a true story. So we encourage you to come see it.
Her name is Hill Rose Marie.
Yeah.
And what's your next play going to be? Or are you going right from here to Broadway?
Just say yes.
Yes.
Or are you going from here to television? Those are big decisions you've got to make. You got to make it into fourth grade first. Though.
I don't know.
Do you want to tell the audience?
Just say come to Riverbank Summer Camp. Yeah, that'll be your
Come
next
to
thing.
Riverbank Summer Camp.
There you go.
Okay. It's very nice. It's an honor to meet you. Is it possible for maybe I've got your picture here on a piece of paper. Could I have an autograph before you
There
leave?
you go.
Huh? This would be cool. I've never had an autograph from a. There's look at her. Here she goes. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you here on the Focus program. You can bring your buddy Aaron back anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
All right? Is that a deal?
Yep.
Okay. We'll be back with the next guest in just a second. Welcome back to the Focus Set. Paul Dingeman here once again. We are fortunate today to have Captain Matt King along with us from the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department, and he's going to bring us up to date on a group of people who are really, really active, and that is the Drug Task Force. Welcome to the Focus Set. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
The sheriff's been in a couple of years over the last few years. Come in and talk to us about the Drug Task Force results and what they've been doing, and that's what you're going to do for us today. So.
Yeah, it's nice to give an update of what the guys have been doing out there with the Drug Task Force, and we like to keep the community informed as to how we're doing and how things are progressing in the world of the Drug Task Force.
Before we get started, how long have you been with the department?
21 years.
Just a rookie.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
rookie. And you've probably been all over the department, aren't you?
Sure, yeah. I started out as a road deputy. I've been at the Drug Task Force myself 4 different occasions, twice as a deputy and then as a sergeant and lieutenant. And I was a part of the Special Response Team for 20 years who works hand in hand with Drug Task Force. So I know a bit about the operations, been out there on several occasions and learned a lot while being out there. So.
Great. Well, let's get into the report. Before I keep interrupting myself, the Drug Task Force had a bond issue passed for them a year or so ago, and that seemed to help grow the group.
Yes, actually, the millage is up again this year. It's been almost 4 years, believe it or not.
Oh, it has been 4 years.
Yes, terrific collaboration and support by the community, and we're able to increase our numbers of the members out of the Drug Task Force by quite a bit. Okay. It's a multi-jurisdictional group that has people from the Sheriff's Office, Port Huron Police Department, Clay Police Department, as well as U.S. Border Patrol and Customs and Border Patrol agents on the team.
But the problem never ceases.
It doesn't. It seems to always change and move around, and our task is to keep up with those changes and keep up with the trends and try to keep the drug dealers in jail or out of our community at least as much as we can.
Okay, let's take a look now at what you brought along. You brought along a PowerPoint which discusses the information about the Drug Task Force, and let's see, Bruce is going to get that up for us. We can edit this out.
Okay.
They had the next one up. There we go. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Drug Task Force staffing. What do you got?
Yeah, so the Drug Task Force, as I said, is a multi-jurisdictional group. We have 1 lieutenant, 2 sergeants. We have 10 deputies from the Sheriff's Office, 2 Port Huron police officers, 1 officer from Clay PD, 1 officer from U.S. Border Patrol, and 1 from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, as well as a secretary and an assistant prosecutor. All get paid for out of the Drug Task Force millage.
Okay, all right.
And you know, we try to always focus on the drug dealers, the people who are pushing the drugs out to the community. That is our task, and that's what we at the Drug Task Force do, is try to catch and prosecute the drug dealers, not so much the users. We obviously run into them, and some of them do get charged, but our focus is on the drug dealers themselves. We get a lot of complaints from citizens and a large amount of investigations. You can see the numbers are down a little bit from last year as far as the complaints are down a little bit, as well as the investigations and reports. But certain times we run into long-term investigations, so it eats up more time.
Yep.
And instead of banging out bigger numbers, they're longer investigations. The Drug Task Force also gets pulled in different directions. If there are other crimes that are involved, drug trafficking or drug users in those crimes, we also assist with the Detective Bureau, the Sheriff's Office, or any other agency throughout the county who assist request our assistance.
Okay.
Our charges, 350 felony charges this year and 166 misdemeanor charges, constantly trying to catch the drug dealers. So those are down a little bit as well, but again, we've been assisting some other agencies in some investigations. Our search warrants and traffic stops, those will be the culmination of the investigations that the investigators do out there. They may come down to a search warrant to a home or a storage facility or a building, or it may just be a traffic stop, because sometimes the drug dealers just continuously are mobile, and we do a probable cause traffic stop or search warrant traffic stop. So 410 of those investigations were culminated into either traffic stops or search warrants. So very busy out there. And you know, some of the things that are unique to St. Clair County is our location and where we're at compared to other communities. We're approximately an hour from Detroit and Flint. Those would be cities that drugs come into from our community. So we're far enough away where the dealers get more money for their drug product here in St. Clair County as they would back there, but we're close enough.
Not as much competition, probably.
Not as much competition. And you know, a drug dealer from a bigger city can kind of be the big dog on the street here.
Yeah.
As we're back in their home city, they may just be a middleman, another
yeah.
person. And of course, the international border is always a challenge as well. We work well with our federal counterparts, both locally and in Canada, to try to intercept drugs coming and going, as well as the money coming and going from the bigger cities of Canada through Port Huron.
Yeah, you hear from time to time of big raids at the Blue Water Bridge, and you know, they pick up trucks coming across back and forth. You guys don't get into that too much, but
not too much. We try to gather information, a lot of information sharing. The key for us is to find out if it was a load coming to our community and being distributed, or just going through to a bigger city.
Okay.
So battling you know, drugs, again, opioids is always a top priority of ours. It's been a phenomenon probably over a decade now, where this drug, being heroin, kind of disappeared for a long time, and it came back. I think we all know by now the story that the overprescription use, and then it turned into the addiction, and then on to heroin. Opioid pills are often a gateway to the heroin use. We continue to battle those, and The pill sales and usage is down, but unfortunately that means the heroin use is up. And along with that is fentanyl use as well that is sometimes mixed with heroin, and that causes overdoses and a higher addiction rate because it's a synthetic opioid.
Tough stuff.
Very, very tough stuff. Again, the prescription drug seizures are down. However, that's because people have moved on from their prescription drug use onto heroin. I remember I was a deputy out there about, probably a decade ago now. We started seeing a large uptick in the opioid pills sales. And it was new to us. We didn't understand it, and obviously we got to understand it very quickly. And shortly thereafter, the huge uptick in heroin sales and use came from a derivative, from directly connected to that. And we see the pill sales down, heroin up. So unfortunately, that is still something we're battling. Again, the prescription drug abuse is a big thing. And what we can do with that is, as a community, is keep an eye on those prescription pills, make sure they're not falling in the wrong hands. And if you're done using them, we can take them at the sheriff's office, or if somebody, a loved one's passed away, we collect those at the sheriff's office and get them disposed of properly.
Good.
Again, heroin is still a big problem. The scary thing about the heroin is you don't know what it's being mixed with, who's making it. Again, when fentanyl gets put in with the heroin, people think they're getting a certain dose of heroin, and in fact they're getting heroin with fentanyl or a stronger mixture, and people are overdosing. There's a lot of safety precautions in place with how we handle those drugs now because of the exposure to our drug task force officers, including carrying the antidote to heroin and things like that. Over the years, we have seen a little bit of a decline in heroin.
Wow, that's quite a change.
2017 was a huge year for us. The difference between 18 and 19, again, is down. We're hoping that that's a sign of our community outreach with our health care partners and community mental health and other partners like that, trying to stop people from getting addicted. We've had initiatives and with other groups like the healthcare companies trying to be more selective as to when they're prescribing.
Yeah, I think doctors are prescribing it less,
Exactly.
or putting some limits on how many days you can have the pills
Yes.
and that kind of thing. But maybe all of that stuff works together.
All the above. The DEA have passed laws and rules on how many dosage can be prescribed at once, and I think doctors are being more mindful as to when they do prescribe. And then people are more educated, so when they do get prescribed these pills, they understand it is addictive. There was a time where they were prescribed these pills and they were told there was no addictive factors.
Okay.
So, methamphetamine, another very large problem in our community. The meth labs are actually down, but that's because the mega labs in basically the southern border in Mexico have started making huge quantities of methamphetamine over the last few years. And they
production.
Mass production. It's treated
Not
like
good.
a business. They've brought it up here, and it's cheaper and easier for the drug addicted people to get their hands on without the exposure to the chemicals and the dangers of trying to cook it themselves. So the meth labs have gone down, but the methamphetamine over the last few years have definitely gone up.
Okay.
You see the decline from last year to this year is quite...
Down 1,000 almost.
It is, but last year we had a record bust that really inflated that number. As you can see, it's still up from 16 and 17.
Yeah.
Still a huge problem in our community. When talking to drug task force deputies and officers that are out there, and I ask them, what's the biggest problem? And right now it really is the methamphetamine. There's plenty of heroin out there and problems like that, but the methamphetamine is still one of their number one problems. Crack cocaine and cocaine, for whatever reason, the last couple of years is actually way up. We saw a little decline in crack cocaine when meth came around, but at this point we're seeing crack cocaine up from over the last few years with a 69% increase from last year. So cocaine and crack cocaine is still a problem. As you see on the graph there, it's up almost, more than, almost twice from last year, and certainly more than twice the 2 previous years.
Okay.
So we still have overdose deaths from the
There was one
heroin.
a day or something like that, wasn't there?
There was one overdose a
day.
day, not death, thankfully,
Yeah.
with the officers, EMS, and fire all carrying Narcan. And now we have initiatives through the health department where if you have a drug addicted loved one, they're being Narcan trained, so if God forbid you run across somebody.
So that'll cut down on some of the deaths.
The deaths, yes, but not the factual overdoses. So you see the drug related deaths are down, but still that's a lot of deaths.
Right.
You know, for no reason, you know,
Right.
other than being drug addicted. There is an interactive map on our website that you can see the activity of the Drug Task Force. And on that map, you can click on the little bubble there. It will tell you the address and the kind of drugs that were found there. Keep in mind if there's an ongoing investigation with that house that may lead to another house or other targets, it may not show up at that point, but eventually it will be on the map. And that's our Facebook page there.
Okay.
If you want to look up at the drug activity map from the Drug Task Force.
Okay. Well, you guys, there's a toll-free number there on the screen, 800-243-DRUGS, and you guys, you're 24/7, 365 days a year trying to help.
Absolutely. The members of the Drug Task Force work more hours a week than any other part of the Sheriff's Office, and they do a great job, and with the continued support from the community, we can continue to battle this problem that we have in our community with the drugs.
Matt, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Captain Matt King, and we salute you and all the people who are involved in the Drug Task Force for your efforts and trying to keep us safe and alive.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be back with our next guest in just a second. Well, welcome back to the Focus Set, and we thought we better take a few minutes and show you our beautiful new set here at the lower level of St. Clair City Hall. For numbers of years, we were located at the old St. Clair Middle School, and the Katofsky and St. Clair Inn people bought the building and requested that we leave, and we did, and look at what happened. It turned out extremely nice. As you found last week, we did our first show from this studio. I want to thank Nancy Wills, who provided the two pictures we have, one of the statues in the Palmer Park down St. Clair and one of the wonderful lighthouse in Marine City. We had both of those files from Nancy, and then we sent them along to a photographer's company. They blew them up to a nice big size. I think we'll be changing them throughout the year, and we now have the nice anchor desk and a beautiful area to continue to try and tell people what's going on in the community. To that end, we've also added a couple things. One is a live feed on our webpage. If you go to www.watchctv.org, there you go, you can see our webpage. And all of the programs that we have up, thousands of videos are on display if you search for them. They are there. There's last week's show. And we also feature what's going on right now live. That's a commercial for the Murphy Hotel. We must have a basketball game on live now, and that's running while the game is going on. Well, we're going back to the game. There's the game. Then we also have sources there for concerts, arts and entertainment, conversation, programs with Focus, all listed there. So that's all at an address on your web, which is called www.watch, like in normal watch, WATCHCTV, communitytv.org, watchctv.org, and you come to our webpage. And then another new addition is our app. You can now carry us with you on your phone. You can download the app today. Just search your store, your Google Play Store or the App Store from Apple, and go to type in CTV6, and this is what will come up. You'll again see the same format that we have on our webpage is now transferred to your telephone. So you can see the different categories: focus, meetings, at the market, conversation, arts and entertainment, And the programs are there, and you can click them and enjoy them any time of the day, 24/7. Your CTV, your stories, your community. That's what we have got lined up for you for this year in our brand new studio, brand new facilities. We thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.